had no solo song on there.
None. And it's not to say that he wasn't. It's not like he was.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I mean, he was there, man. I mean, ain't he like Wyclef cousin? I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, he did what he could do. You know, I mean, everybody can't run and score the touchdown. Some people got to block. You know, so he was blocking.
Like I said, I've said before on other podcasts. There may be other things. Pras was a decent MC. He wasn't the best of it.
I mean, he wasn't gonna blow you.
He had a lot of other intangibles within the group that kept the group dynamic spinning.
Yeah, because I mean, like, if you think about it, like you said, we didn't notice at the time, but if Lauryn and Wyclef are dealing with each other, you know, on a romantic level, you got to be the peacemaker because shit gonna go left at some point. So, and if they break up in their relationship, there goes the group. So
okay, so I'm looking at the history. Pras is the one that found Lauryn Hill and Wyclef. They all he introduced Hill to Wyclef.
Like I said, somebody got a block.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe
everybody can't run the ball.
Architect.
So, and you know, but that speaks volumes to, you know, where they were. But they were that album pushed them to a whole nother level, whole nother stratosphere, particularly for Lauryn, because, you know, after that album comes out, and even what you said about Roberta Flack, Killing Me Softly was the song that really, like, I mean, that you couldn't go anywhere without hearing that song. It was on Black radio, it was on white radio, it was on Top 40, it was on MTV.
Top 5 most overplayed songs in music history.
Listen,
at least in our era, I'll say within 80s, 90s era, 2000s, it's one of the most overplayed songs.
Listen, it is such to, you know, a couple of months ago, unfortunately, we lost the great Roberta Flack, who passed away. In most of the write-ups about her passing, this song gets mentioned. Not the fact that she was the originator, but it's like, oh yeah, by the way, the Fugees did her song, you know, Killing Me Softly. And I mean, and for people who weren't around for Roberta Flack's prime, oh my gosh, Roberta Flack was a monster. So even covering one of her songs was doing a lot. So, and Lauryn did it admirably.
And the way and shout out to Wyclef on this. I think Wyclef and Pras actually produced this version.
Mm-hmm.
But the one time, like, it made it hip hop too, though. It wasn't like a straight remake of it, where it's just like singing this. It made it hip hop and made it a little bit more bouncier. It made it, you know, even the music video brought the edge out, and you're seeing how much a star Lauryn is, because it's focused on her, and you forgot that she was in a group called the Fugees at this point.
It like you said, the focus was on her, and it really just propelled her to the next level, man. And we knew, if we didn't know that a solo album was coming, we knew a solo album was coming after that album came out, because it made too much sense not to do it.
So then Ready or Not is a blast off hit. That's when they really had the big budget, because that's when they got at the time, kids, if you look at that music video, that graphics was some of the best graphics we could get back in 96, 97 for a music video. Now you may look at it and be like, oh, I can do that now with my AI. We couldn't do that. Right. That was an expensive video then. That was premiering on TRL and all these different places. It was a big deal when that radio, because to me, that was the standout song besides Killing Me Softly. Ready or Not, when you heard it, and because it's a sample of is it James Bond? I
think be.
But it's a, you know, you like, oh, like you know, and then Lauryn Hill, Ready or Not. It's like, it's just, y'all don't understand, like, how different and refreshing that was, especially, and maybe it was because of the time, 96, like you said, we lose Pac, Big is going on. We really coming out of that East Coast, West Coast thing. We needed some kind of grounded hip hop. I would say.
It was definitely grounded. And like you said, it was something that could be promoted and marketed to the masses, because it wasn't controversial. They weren't controversial. You know, I mean, they cussed in the songs, but it wasn't in your face. There were, you know, Lauryn wasn't out there promoting her body. I mean, like, they were, and then when you saw them perform, they performed. So it was easy for them to be slid on MTV and you know, not miss a beat.
So it was actually sample from Enya. Remember that old group Enya? Remember late at night you would hear you would get the at like 2 a.m. like Enigma, all these bands with the smooth like music to get you go to sleep. Enya is the group that they took that from. Is one of them groups on that, like with the monks chanting. Remember those things that they 2 in the morning?
We didn't get that on the radio, but I do remember hearing that later on in life. Because those are like you said, just different sounds and stuff that you would use. A lot of people.
Yeah, no. It was an actual infomercial that would come on at 2 in the morning.
Oh no, I had never heard that.
Oh, dude, I literally just put it up in 90s group. I'm gonna find it and send it to you.
Okay, yeah, send it to
me. Like one of those late night great songs such as Enigma, Return to Innocence, and then it would play it and like Enya, My Daughter Again, like I know the old school record, but it was just for smooth listening, meditative music.
That's when I heard it. I heard one of those samples on like one of those stations where they play just that music, like you said, the music that you go to sleep to and stuff like that.
Enya is one of the groups that they sampled their song for Ready or Not. Which makes sense now. It's kind of meditative. Mm-hmm. So the score goes on to does it get some Grammys?
Yeah, I would think so. Well, I know it I can't remember if it got Grammys, but I can tell you they broke a bunch of records. Yeah, and they sold a bunch of records.
It sold 6 million.
6 million, crazy. You go from
platinum. UK was 2 times platinum in UK alone.
Yeah, you go from almost getting dropped to, selling 6 million. That's unheard of.
Yeah, and so let's see what awards did they get? Did they get any awards?
Mm-hmm. While you're looking that up, I just want to remind.
Oh people, no! I'm sorry. It sold 22 million worldwide.
Oh, okay, that's even better.
Yeah, 22 million worldwide. Like
so I mean, like they're stars. So that means that's a diamond album.
Yeah,
that's a diamond
double diamond album.
Yeah, so you sold diamond is selling at least 10 million copies. That's crazy. That you go and they almost got dropped. That's the thing that you have to kind of keep in mind. They almost got dropped, and they go and put out that kind of output on the next album, the very next album.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing to think about the fact that they may not have won any awards for this.
But you know what? They didn't have to. I mean, like,
no, they won 2 awards. They won two Grammys for it.
Okay.
Which Grammys are they?
We didn't care about Grammys.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I'm just trying to for the people to know how big this
right.
This
it was huge. Was. It was like huge.
It crossed over tons because I remember me as a kid. I always tell people that when I first got to high school, I went to all boys prep school. Mm-hmm. There was not that many black guys there. The 3 albums that if you got into anybody's car that they would have, let's see if you can guess them.
Okay, so what year did you get that?
This is pre Fugees is my point.
Okay. What year was this?
I'm gonna say 95, 96. Let's say 96, right before the Fugees drops.
96.
It was 3 albums. It was guaranteed rap albums because at that time, people, there was still a racial. There wasn't if you found a white guy, Asian guy, someone that wasn't black or brown that was into hip hop, it was like, oh shit, you into it? It was still a stratification when it came to hip hop in mid 90s. I'm just being honest with you. So 3 albums that you were guaranteed to get into somebody's car and they'll be they would have.
Maybe
2 of them come from the same label. I'm gonna give you that as a hint.
Doggy Style, The Chronic.
Yep, those are 2 of them.
And probably I wouldn't say Big, probably Pac. Me Against the World.
WA.
Okay.
Niggas for life.
Yep, makes sense. Makes total sense. Like that makes total sense.
And this is the Midwest. I know we have a lot of East Coast people. I'm talking about the Midwest kid. Those are the 4 albums that they was having in there. You would see that Chronic Leaf on the CD.
Oh yeah.
Or you would see, and you'd be like, okay, all right, you got the Chronic. And like it was so big. White guys loved Snoop's album so much. I never forget. It was a big basketball tournament in my school for like the end of the year. One of the teams was named the Shiznit.
Not the Shiznit.
And it got past teachers because they didn't know what it was.
Nope.
But we knew, like I was like, no,
that's funny.
And that team ended up winning the championship too. And they had like 3 D1 guys on their squad. And I was like, they got the Shiznit to get through for the tournament.
Wow. Hey, that reminds me of my high school. We had a We had a intramural basketball team, and we called ourselves SMD. And somebody said, "What does SMD stand for?" We was like Super Mac Daddies, but that ain't what it stood for.
Super Mac.
We won a game, and the principal was on the microphone. He's like, "Yeah, congratulations on the intramural win by SMD." And everybody in class started laughing.
I wonder if they had that figured out.
They did. Nobody no adult ever pressed us.
At some point, somebody was probably sitting like 10, 15 years later and was like, yeah, SMD means this. Hold on.
SMD.
These kids got one over on us.
Yep. And nobody, and I went to black high school. Nobody. I mean, I'm talking about 90% black. Like nobody thought nothing. And then when it like we would say like, yeah, Super Mac Daddies, but on our jerseys, SMD.
And listen, y'all. Something like they're now. I would say everything was way more stratified than period.
Oh.
Racially, culturally, generationally, a lot more people our age know and understand more slang and more what the young kids are saying. Not totally, but it wasn't a big difference. Like an older person listening to Al Green and they was not listening to no Chuck D at all.
No,
they wasn't
at all.
At all. They didn't know what was going on with Public Enemy. Now it's different. You know, we are a little bit more, cohesively connected. Like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I ain't listening to any old Chopper, but I know who he is at least.
I've heard the name. He could walk in here right now with NL Chopper shirt.
I wouldn't know who he was. I've heard the name.
Man, who are you?
NL Chopper. Like,
get the hell out of my house.
I just heard Playboy Cardi for the first time because Kendrick was on there, and I wanted to hear that.
I have no reason to ever listen to Playboy Cardi. I know who he is. No, I've never heard his music before.
Oh, I'm talking about, the Kendrick is on his new song.
I know Kendrick's on his album, and people have put the song in the group chat. I just no reason to click it. What are you gonna do for me? Yeah, I mean, you want to play me Kendrick's version? I can listen to Kid, but no, I got no reason to listen to him. There's no disrespect. He just, I'm at a place that at 52 years old, I know some of these artists, they just don't make music for me, so I'm cool.
Yeah, and it's not.
They make music for my kids, so that's who listens to it. It ain't me.
Your kids into that Playboy Cardi?
What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the Game never leaves G-Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip-hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Ifs, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip-hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened. We reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at